Legal battle brewing in Beantown. It comes after two firefighters died in 2014 putting out a fire in the basement of a burning building. We are talking about Lieutenant Ed Walsh and firefighter Michael Kennedy. Now, they apparently made a mayday call asking for water for their hose, but that water never came. And here is a photo of the hose that was burned through. Just recently, the feds issued a scathing report criticizing the Boston Fire Department in the deaths of those two firefighters, citing a lack of training, inadequate staffing, and poor tactical decisions. But on the heels of that report, fire officials are filing a lawsuit, suing the maker of the truck engine for what the department says is problems in more than a dozen city fire trucks. The department says the lawsuit will prevent future disasters. Here to discuss this is our legal panel, Keisha Hebben and David Bruno, both defense attorneys and former prosecutors, and the maker of the manufacturer we're talking about is Navistar International. So, Keisha, I'll start with you. Does the Boston Fire Department have a strong case?
I would say that they have not so much a strong case, but I can see where it may be, I can see why they're doing it. And the reason why I say that is because there's a whole bunch of liable parties in this situation. It's not just the manufacturer of the truck. It could be the city. If the the fire department can prove that they petitioned the city to say, look, we need more equipment, we need better trucks, we need, better training, we need more funding, and the city did nothing about it, then they should be, the city should be more liable than just the manufacturer of the engines.
Do you agree, David? More people should be liable?
Well, the lawsuit that the commissioner spoke about is against the fire truck company for times where the fire trucks needed service and was not available for the department. Okay, that's very different than holding the fire truck company accountable for the deaths of the individuals or the people that were injured. Those lawsuits can be brought by the victim's family and other individuals that are damaged. I will say that the timing of this statement is very questionable to me, because they could have brought these lawsuits against the trucking company many years ago. In fact, they've had these trucks for about 6 years now and have never filed a lawsuit. It only comes on the back end of this 77-page report by the federal agency, which was scathing, as you said in the intro. So the timing of this announcement is questionable to me.
But you know what, Arthel, I feel that if they knew these trucks weren't working for 6 or so years, they should have did something about it. So that puts liability back on them. You can't now
sue
the
fire department.
Right, the fire department. Get better trucks. Have those trucks replaced. Don't wait until a tragic incident like this happens to say, okay, by the way, we're suing you because your trucks were lemons. They should have did something about it prior to this happening.
Yeah, I'd like to also say that there are a number of other parties that would be liable in a situation where a family brings a wrongful death action. There was a welding company that actually started the fire. Let's not forget about that. The fire and the city responded to a fire. And then there were a number of other parties, potentially the city itself, for not properly training their department, for an inadequate payroll, or putting the firefighters in actually the scheduling of it.
Right.
So there are a number of other parties that would be liable in a wrongful death lawsuit.
Because I think I read, Keisha says the fire department may be able to shift the liability to the city.
Yes, absolutely, because if they've made it known that they need these things, they need more training, they need more men or women, or they need more funding in general, and the city did nothing about it, then that shifts the liability, in my opinion, to the city. And as far as the welders, I'm sure they're going to argue that they're not liable because it was an unforeseeable incident.
And the reason why Keisha's bringing up welders, it was the result. This happened at a brownstone on Beacon Street in the Back Bay area of Boston. And basically, the welders were there working on some wrought iron, and the sparks is what sparked the fire in the first place.
Right.
Sure.
David, you get final.
Yeah, there was actually a criminal investigation by the DA to determine whether or not the welding company or the welders were criminally responsible. This is a situation where they didn't call 911. They may have even left without reporting. The DA came out, they said no criminal charges, but that does not mean they're not civilly liable.
So this is definitely not over yet.
No, it's going to be a huge lawsuit.
But we want to remember firefighter Michael Kennedy and Lieutenant Ed Walsh. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Keisha Hebben and David Bruno.
Great, thank you.
Okay.